After you set up your GPS reference profile and configure NavCom field genes to log raw GPS data, you will see a notification telling you to press the Start Reference button to configure the reference receiver with a position. Press Continue and you will be taken to the Map View screen. Notice how the Measure button says Start Reference. To set up a UHF radio module as your link device, you will need to start a reference position. To do this, select the Measure button. This will take you to the Select Reference Position screen. Here you are given three options. You can use a known geodetic position, use an averaged geodetic position, or use local transformation to a point. For this position, we will be using the averaged geodetic position. This will take you to the Reference Position screen. At the bottom of the screen, you will see the count of how many position epochs have been used to average your position. The top of the screen shows your averaged position. Once you're satisfied with your averaged position, you can press Set Position. Otherwise, press Reset Average to have NavCom Field Genius re-average your position based on new position epochs. You will then see a notification asking you to save the averaged geodetic position to the points database. Select Yes. Next, you'll be asked to assign a point ID and a description to your new point. You may also enter a note about the point to refer to later. When you are done, select Store Point. This will take you to the Link Configure screen. At the top, you will see a drop-down list of compatible link devices. NavCom Field Genius is compatible with the UHF radio modules and other devices if you are connecting an external device such as an external Satel radio or cell modem. The UHF radio module is set as the default option. In this example, we will be focusing on the internal UHF radio. To configure your UHF radio options, select Setup. On the radio setup screen, you will see areas to adjust the network ID, frequency, protocol, channel spacing, and transmit power. You will want to remember these settings, as you will need to match them when you set up a UHF radio as a link device on your rover. NavCom Field Genius supports Satel, Pacific Crest, and TrimTalk radio protocols. Channel spacing can be set at 12.5 or 25 kHz. Transmit power gives you the option of transmitting at 100 milliwatts, 200 milliwatts, 500 milliwatts, or 1 watt. Selecting OK takes you back to the Link Configure screen. In the Link Communication box, you will see a section for GPS port. This feature is hard-coded as internal and cannot be changed. At the bottom of the screen, you will see the Data Format box. Here, you can select your desired data format from a drop-down list. NavCom Field Genius supports RTCM versions 2 and 3, CMR and CMR+, as well as NavCom proprietary formats. If you are using multiple GPS reference stations, you will want to set a unique station ID number so your rover can identify which reference station to receive its corrections from. Select Connect to complete the reference station setup. Your GPS reference is now configured with a UHF radio link configuration. Again, it is important to remember the settings of your GPS reference station's UHF radio module, since you will need to set up your rover's radio module to match these settings. You will now see the Map View screen. To continue configuring the UHF radio as a data link, select the Settings button in the upper right. Once on the Instrument Settings screen, select Instrument Disconnect to disconnect your GPS reference station from NavCom Field Genius. Doing this will not affect any of the settings that have been established in the GPS reference station. You will now be back on the Map View screen. Select the Settings button again, and you will be taken to the Instrument Selection screen. Here, you will select GPS Rover, choose a profile, and press Connect. In this example, we're using a default profile that has already been configured. If you need help configuring a GPS rover profile, please see the video on configuring a rover profile. After you set up your rover profile and configure NavCom Field Genius to log raw GPS data, you will be taken to the Link Configure screen. Please note that if NavCom Field Genius takes you to the Map View screen instead of the Link Configure screen, and the Measure button shows an RTK fixed solution, then your rover has previously been linked to your GPS reference station via the UHF radio, and your system is ready to use. If you are taken to the link configure screen, you will see a drop-down list of compatible link devices at the top of the screen. NavCom Field Genius is compatible with Starfire, UHF radio devices, Data Collector Internet, and other devices. UHF radio module is set as the default option. In order to connect to your UHF radio configured reference station, you will need to leave this as your selected link device. To configure your UHF radio options, select Setup. On the radio setup screen, you will see a variety of options. You will want to adjust the network ID, frequency, protocol, and channel spacing to match what your GPS reference station is set to. NavCom Field Genius supports SATEL, Pacific Crest, and Trim Talk radio protocols. Channel spacing can be set at 12.5 or 25 kHz. You will want to set your transmit power to 100 milliwatts, which is the lowest setting. Because your rover will only be receiving data packages from your base station and not sending any out, its transmitter will not be used. Setting the transmit power to the lowest setting will therefore use less battery power. Selecting OK takes you back to the link configure screen. In the link communication box, you will see a section for GPS port. This feature is hard-coded as internal and cannot be changed. At the bottom of the screen, you will see the data format box. Here you can select your desired data format from a drop-down list. NavCom Field Genius supports RTCM versions 2 and 3, CMR and CMR+, as well as NavCom proprietary formats. Setting the rover station ID to any will configure the rover to receive corrections from any base station, as long as the network ID and frequencies match, or you can set a specific base station ID if desired. Selecting Connect takes you to the map view. Your rover is now set up with a UHF radio link configuration. In the map view screen, the Measure button should display the RTK fixed solution. If for any reason NavCom Field Genius is not receiving an RTK fixed solution, you can select the Settings button on the map screen. Then select Link Information to check the link status between the rover and base. Data Format tells you the RTK format being received from the base. Data Count tells you how many data packages you have received, and Data Age tells you the RTK correction latency from the base. Data age should be between 1 and 2 seconds depending on the baseline. Status tells you if you have a 3D solution, and Identification tells you the base station ID. Select Close and you will be taken back to the map view screen.